When a millionaire nearly runs out of money, he doesn't give up. He doesn't just sit back and watch his empire crumble. For me, that means picking up the tools again. You can take away the wealth, but you can never take away the drive to revive. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Alright, so today we are back for the last episode of this year 2024, as we are going to be going away for a couple of days after this episode, so I really hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. So today we've got a couple of things that we need to get sorted out, so meaning there's quite a bit of work, and yeah, we've got a lot to do, so I think it's best to get up early and get ourselves busy with on this beautiful sunny morning. Let's just get the lights turned off. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we are going to head over to our shop with the ramp truck over here. Already packed the suitcase for the couple of days I'm going to be going away. So yeah, back at the workshop we've got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. I think if you did see the thumbnail of the video, you more or less have got an idea already what it is. So yeah, let's head over to the shop and I'll show you guys what is cooking. Alright, and we are back at the shop, so let's just quickly park up the ramp truck over here. Just gonna reverse it into its normal space over here. So yeah, we've got a lot of preparations we need to actually do before we head off to our couple of days away. Not entirely sure how to describe it, but yes, I'm just gonna go for a couple of days, gonna go and relax a little bit, and then yeah, we'll come back to the shop and we'll continue with the rest of the work that we're going to have left after today. I should actually grab my suitcase while I'm here so that we don't forget this in the ramp truck. Alright, so I might actually have to pull the ramp truck into the shop at some point today, as well as try and tuck our trailer away. I just want to make sure everything's going to be nice and safe while we are away. Let's just grab the suitcase. We'll just put it here in the office for now. Yeah, I probably should get rid of the Christmas decorations a bit. But yes, there we go. So this is our new car. This is a BMW E30. So as you can see, this thing is actually spotless. It's a very nicely well taken care of vehicle. And yeah, so the story is actually that I put the F100 up for auction. And there was a guy actually who contacted me directly for it, and he offered me this car along with $15,000 cash as well. So I decided, well, you might as well go for it, then that way we at least have got another reliable vehicle. So yeah, let's just have a look around this thing. The interior is beautiful. It's got a beautiful grey interior, and the engine is absolutely perfect. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this thing. Except for it being a little bit too low. So that is the reason why I haven't been driving this thing to the house. I'm not sure it's going to be very feasible for us to try and even drive this thing home, because our driver will be a nightmare for this car. But yes, as you can see, we also have got Scotia's Lada Wagon ready, and it is basically going to be put back together today. So I think we've got all of the parts, if not all of the parts, at least most of the parts to put this thing back together. So that is part of the agenda for today. So we're going to try and fix up Scotia's Lada Wagon. I'm going to see if I can adjust the suspension on this thing, because apparently it's got adjustable coilovers. So we will definitely have a look at that. And then obviously we've got Cyclone's truck over here in the suspension shop, along with our brand new truck that we are going to try and fix up for ourselves. So I have done a little bit of work off camera. As you can see, nothing much. We did replace the 2 rear tires, and we also managed to get this thing running as it sits here. So we've got the engine installed, the second-hand engine from Charles. Did top it up with oil. We've got the coolant in the radiator, so this thing actually runs and drives. It just doesn't look as good yet. So I did manage to track down a bed for this truck as well, so that is actually in the backyard. We can probably take a little bit of a walk around there and just show you guys exactly what is going on. Alright, so here we are. This is our new dually bed. So this is actually a guy who sold his truck bed. It's 100% perfect. Only paid like $2,000 for this thing, and yeah, we just need to basically slap it onto the back of our truck And that also means that we are going to have to probably get some dually wheels for this thing to look right, because it's probably going to look a little bit weird with those skinny tires on the back of this truck of ours if we just pop this on the back of it. So let's quickly just pop this down over here, and I actually want to see how this thing is going to fit and what it's going to look like. So I think it shouldn't be too hard to get this thing installed. Alright, but there we go. So yeah, that looks a little bit weird actually with the skinny tires, but I am going to go ahead and bolt this thing down, because that way it's just going to look a little bit more like a complete vehicle. I'm not going to have a sort of a half-built vehicle sitting in our shop. So yeah, I actually did mount the bumper from the ramp truck that we took off, as well as the dropped hitch, because we are going to be lifting this thing up, and yeah, actually still need to install the drop hitch itself. So at the moment it's just at the standard ride height, so we are going to be lifting the truck as well, so for that reason we're going to have to drop this thing. Alright, so there we go, that is our bed now bolted onto the truck. We might have to get a proper bumper for this thing. I think it's going to look a little bit better. As for the front bumper, I did manage to straighten it out a bit so that we can get a license plate on there as well, and we also got our license plate on the back bumper there for now. So yeah, we'll see how far we get with this truck and what we're going to do. I might even do a little bit of wider mirrors for this, the same ones we've got on our ramp truck over there. And then, yeah, this is going to become our new transport vehicle for hauling stuff up and down. It's definitely a lot more spacious than the F100. And with the lifted suspension, it's also going to be a little bit more heavy duty. But yes, as you can see, also Cyclone's truck is here in the suspension shop. So part of my plans for today is to maybe dig into the suspension of this El Camino and see what it's going to need. And then obviously we've also got Charles's truck, which I actually moved into the paint booth. So that is also ready for its fresh coat of paint. Let's just make our way over there quickly. Alright, traffic. Let's just watch out for the traffic. Alright, so let's just pop this open. Alright, so there it is. We did a little bit of Bondo work in the last episode, but I did miss a little bit of dents over here on the rocker panel. So that has been sorted out as well. So once we are ready, we can actually come over here. We're just going to drop the paint in, and we're going to just do the touch-up paint on the rest of the body, just to get the color matching right again. And then it's going to be a matter of putting everything back together on the truck. So I'm sure we'll be able to get to the paint job at least for this truck today. So we will see how far we get. But I think we are going to start on Scotia's little Lada wagon inside the body shop. I'm going to see if we can get this thing put back together. So let's pop that open over there. And there we go. So yeah, this is going to be a very nice little panel wagon once we can get everything installed. So I think what we're going to do is let's start with windows. We'll start with the two bigger windscreens over here, the front and the rear glass. Right, pop that into there. And yeah, I like the fact that this is a split window now, or a split rear end, so that actually it gives a little bit more use to the vehicle, so you can load stuff a little bit easier. Alright, and we're going to need a wrench, because now we're going to have to probably mount the bumpers, and we'll get all of the rest of the stuff installed as we progress. Alright, so let's start at the back here with the back bumper. And we're going to have to crawl in here again just to get to those bolts. Alright, and this one over there. So that is looking very good. And we also have got the engine. I nearly forgot, we need to still swap the engine. So we've got coolant and oil for the engine that can go in as well. So I think we should be getting very close to finishing this thing up today. We've got the new wheels and tires we still need to mount, so that also still needs to happen. Alright, let's get this front bumper on. Alright, let's just bolt down that side as well. Okay, so yeah, we also have got a little bit of a better battery that I would like to install in this thing. This is the one that I took out of a vehicle at some point. I can't really recall which vehicle. But this battery is definitely looking a little bit tired, so let's go ahead and swap that out for him. Just with a little bit better one. And that way we know he's not going to have any problems with this vehicle starting, because the battery is definitely a little bit worn. And as for interior parts, we couldn't find anything that's going to fit in this headliner, well, with regards to a headliner. So we're just gonna have to install the door panels and stuff that is available at the moment for this car. So yeah, let's grab our two taillights. Okay, and where's the other one? Over there. Alright, and we're gonna need a screwdriver for those once again. So let's bring our screwdriver a bit closer, and let's see if we can get to these screws on these. Alright, so there you go, taillights are in, so let's go ahead and install the ones on the front. I think let's grab the rear license plate while we are at it, over here. Just get that installed back onto the car. Perfect, so yeah, it's already starting to come together. Right, so next up I think let's do the front headlights first of all. We might actually still have to change all of the bulbs, so we'll just double check on that. Alright, so there's the one headlight. Alright, let's just zip it down all the way. Perfect, and let's grab the other one. Alright, so that is our headlight back installed on that side. We still got the old blinkers. We're just going to reuse these because they don't really look like they're broken. Now, definitely a bit old, but it's still intact. So, yeah, might as well just go ahead and use them again. Right. Where's the second screw? There it is. Okay, perfect. So now we can get the grille installed, the centerpiece. Right, let's just bolt down these two screws or screw them down. Perfect. And then we've got the door mirrors, so let's put this one on this side. So these are actually the ones that came off the old doors. So I actually put all of those parts that we took off the Lada wagon here into our storage barn, so that's going to stay there for in case we need it one day. So yeah, that is always good, keeping some decent parts around. So I usually just scrap the stuff, but I figured we might as well hang on to those. We never know if we might need them again. Okay, so let's get our wiper blades on, our wiper arms and wiper blades. And we're just going to grab our wrench here for this. I actually noticed that I put the wrench down on the glass there. Just noticed we've got a bad wiper motor. So yeah, we might have to actually replace the wiper motor still before we do this, or are going to be able to finish this car. Let's grab the window winder here. Alright, we're just going to bolt it down and there. And we've got some small glass here as well, somewhere. I just can't really recall where I put it. I think it's somewhere over here on this table. You can't really see it. It's definitely a bit hard to find things on these workbenches. Alright, so there's the big one, and this looks like one of the small ones. Okay, so this is the front left small one. Alright, so let's get that into there. Yeah, it's amazing how invisible these little windows can be actually. Alright, so we've got the passenger side small window here. We're just going to get that fitted as well. Alright, perfect. And now we can grab our window winder or the window lift. Alright, and we'll just bolt that down as well. And now we can get the glass installed. So let's just make sure we've got the right one. This is the front right one. Looks like we've got an extra window. I don't know why they sent us an extra window. So we'll just make sure we have got the right one. Yeah, that looks fairly good. Let's just wind it up all the way. Okay, and see how that works. Yeah, there's definitely some signs of home built features on this vehicle. As I said, guys, this isn't going to be perfect. This is it's basically a homemade thing. Alright, so let's just see if we can get this glass installed. So this is actually the left one. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so we didn't have an extra window. It was just this one that I haven't fitted yet. But okay, that is cool. Alright, so slowly but surely we are getting there. There are still a couple of nitty-gritty stuff we can do. So let's get these door cards installed next. Okay, and let's grab the driver's side one. Alright, and we bolt that down. So that is perfect. Although it doesn't really look perfect, but I think it looks good enough. So the last few bits are just these chrome pieces around the headlights. And then we just got to mount a rear view mirror. And then I think we should actually be mostly done with the accessories and the stuff that needs to go onto the body of this car. And then it's just going to be a matter of installing the... Yeah, it doesn't look like this actually wants to fit here. Okay, well, I guess you don't really need a rear view mirror then on a panel wagon. Okay, well, that is fine. So yeah, let's continue by removing this old engine and see if we can drop the new one in. So we're going to dive straight into this. Luckily, we've got all the new parts on the engine, so whatever we take off from here is going to be old parts, and we're going to be able to reuse these. Okay, so let's get our exhaust off because we need to reinstall that exhaust. Okay, so let's get these wires unbolted as well on the alternator, and don't forget our ground cable there. Alright, let's go over this side. We're going to undo the fuel line as well. Okay, so there's our fuel line. And we're going to undo the gearbox bolts at the back, or the transmission bolts, whichever you would prefer to call it. Alright, so there's the old engine, and we're just going to put it down over there. Alright, so here's the new engine, and we're just going to undo these two bolts from the stand, and let's get this thing lifted up, and we'll drop it down into the engine bay. Okay, and zip it down over there. And there's a bolt all the way down there. We're going to be able to reach them all. Okay, perfect. So we've got everything on this side. Let's actually grab the fuel line. We'll just put the fuel line back on while we are on this side. Okay, perfect. And that is looking very good. Alright, let's go down. We're going to just bolt up all of the transmission bolts on this side. And let's not forget our bolt on the engine mount down there. Okay, so I think that is everything. So we just need to go and grab a new wiper motor for this car, and then I think this thing is actually ready to go back to Scotia's. So he already has taken delivery of the 71 Dodge Charger, and we did receive that payment. So yeah, I think we definitely have got a little bit of spending money for the time that we're going to be going away. So we'll see. I'll try and obviously not spend too much money. But there we go. The exhaust is back on as well. So all that I need to do still is fluids, oil and coolant. Brake fluid still looks good, so we're not going to bother with that. Okay, so I will bring you guys back up to speed once we try and fire this thing up. Alright guys, so we quickly stepped out as well. I went to fetch a brand new wiper motor for the Lada Wagon, because I noticed the one on the car was a bit rusty, so we're just going to get this installed real quickly. So that means we're going to have to take off the old one. Let's just grab our wrench over here. And we're going to have to take off these wiper arms that we just put on the thing. We'll just transfer them over to the new one. Alright, let's get this bolted down over there. And let's just do this one as well. Come on. Why is it so stuck? Okay, so there we go. Let's get this one onto the wiper motor over here. Just carefully line it up. Okay, and now we're just going to unbolt the old one here. Alright, there's a bolt over there, and there should be another one down there. Okay. Okay, so out with the old. Perfect, yeah, that is definitely worn. And let's get the new one installed. Alright, so that is basically job done. So the last thing that we still needed to do on this vehicle was change the wheels back to the new ones that we've got. And we can also just pop the old engine over here for now onto the stand. Let's just bolt it down onto there. And we're going to move it over here for now. I'm going to take it to the engine shop a little bit later on. We also have got the old engine that came out of our new truck in the engine shop, because I want to try and see if we can get it fixed up at some point again. It's always good to have some backup engines. Alright, so now we're going to fire this thing up. And let's see if we can get it onto the little scissor lift over here. And you can definitely hear that little turbo. Yeah, there it is again. Alright, yeah, I think this is going to be a very nice little panel wagon for Scotia. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do with it. He's probably going to use it to haul some parts up and down. Right, let's park it over here. And just see how we did with parking this thing a little bit more to the front. Let's just push it back slightly. Yeah, I think that should do. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Alright, so let's just lift it up a tiny bit. Okay, so we've got the car lifted up. I just need to grab the wrench. I think I put it back in the toolbox. Right, and then we've got the 4 wheels over here. Okay, so let's pop those a little bit closer to the car. Alright, let's grab the other 2. Alright, great stuff. I'm not too sure if this front wheel is going to go on. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a problem because we are sitting a little bit weird on the lift. So let's do the rear ones first, and then we'll see if we can sort of slide the car forward on the scissor lift. And just see if we're going to be able to manage those front wheels as well. Okay, so let's do the back one on this side. Okay, and put this one on. Alright, so there we go. So now we've got some backup wheels. And we've got 4 lugs, at least on these, if ever we need them. Because we only had 5 lug wheels laying around the shop these past couple of days, or past couple of weeks. Alright, so let's see if we can manage to get this thing pushed forward a bit. Right, so I managed to push the car a little bit forward. So we should hopefully be able to get these wheels on now. Right, so there's the one. Okay, and let's quickly remove this one. And pop the new one on there. Right, so that is pretty good. So we've got the Lada wagon completely sorted out for Scotia now. So this car is just in time to be shipped back over to his place. And then hopefully in the new year he's going to start using it for whatever reasons he wanted us to convert it into a panel wagon for him. Let's just grab all of our tools, make sure they are in the right place. Alright, so I think we can lower this thing down, and we're just going to pull it outside. And we can probably park it next to the BMW outside. Right, let's just hop in here and get it fired up once again. Yeah, this thing is definitely going to have a little bit of power with this 2-liter turbo engine. Alright, and we're going to pop this next to the BMW, I think. It's also going to be a nice picture if we take a nice picture for the thumbnail from here, maybe. But I still wanted to see if I can adjust those coilovers on the BMW. Yeah, maybe that's something we can try and do quickly now that we are basically done with the Lada wagon. Okay, so we're going to grab ourselves a floor jack and a wrench, obviously, because we need to adjust those coilovers with a wrench. So the floor jacks are over here. Let's grab our wrench quickly. Alright, let's go over to this side first. Gonna see if we can manage this. Yeah, this car is absolutely just way too low at the moment. Alright, so let's see which way we can adjust this. Alright, so if we loosen it up, it actually brings the wheel down, as you can see. I think we're gonna go all the way down on the front and the back. Let's see how it's gonna look. Alright, so this one as well, we're gonna adjust it down all the way. Okay, that's how far it wants to go. Right, let's lower her back down. Right, and see if there's any changes. Yeah, that actually looks a little bit better. Although I do like the stance look, it's just a little bit unpractical for us. So we'll fiddle around with it a little bit more off camera maybe at some point. But I think for now, just to lift it up all the way is basically the best call. Alright, so that one's all the way down. And let's do this front one over here as well. Alright, so that is how far it wants to go down. So yeah, looks like they weren't really adjusted perfectly, because I did notice the car was pulling a little bit to the one side. So it's actually a good thing that we did adjust all of these now, and then once we go down a bit, I think we can actually adjust it down at the back more. Because it looks like the front, yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the rear is lifted a tiny bit more. Yeah, I think for the moment that's going to be okay. We will just leave it like that. So let's quickly put our floor jack back where it needs to go. Alright, and we'll pop this in the toolbox. And then I think the next part of the job we're going to tackle will be the paintwork on Charles's truck inside the paint booth. So let's take a walk over there and see if we can get this sorted out for him. Alright, so here we are over at the paint booth. Let's just get our light turned on over here so that we can actually see a bit better what we're doing. Okay, so this is the paint that we had mixed for Charles's truck. It should be a perfect match with the current color of the truck, so let's just give it a little bit of a try over here. Yeah, I think that actually works out pretty well. Alright, well, let's cue a little bit of music and see if we can get this thing painted up completely for him once again.
FUNCLE's got a can of spray. 2 cars parked under the stars, light it up from near to far. Fumes and colors fill the air, city lights, no one to care. Lines and shapes, they start to flow. Watch the cars begin to glow. Spray it high, spray it low. Make those colors twist and flow. FUNCLE's art, no one's the same. 2 cars tagged in his name. Those mirrors shining bright.
Alright, so there we go. So that is job done. So the truck is actually officially one color once again without any dents. So I call this a win for today. We were able to at least sort this out for Charles. So you guys know the drill by now. We're just going to leave it over here in the paint booth. We're going to close the door and just leave this to cure a bit. So yeah, I think we are ready to head back into the suspension shop and we're going to see what work we can get done on Cyclone's Chevy Camino. Alrighty, so here we are once again in the suspension shop where you guys know I like to strip basically all of the suspension off of my customer vehicles usually. So yeah, this truck is here for a full restoration, so that means we are going to strip down every single part on the suspension and we're going to see if we can get this thing sorted out nicely for Cyclone. So we're going to start at the front and I want to check the parts as we take them off. The good parts we're going to try and keep them so that we can reuse them, obviously. Save up a little bit of money and not unnecessarily buy new parts all the way. So let's see how everything is doing. So these 2 strut rods doesn't look too bad. I'd say both of those are still usable. Okay, and then I think let's do the brakes next to... Yeah, you can see the brakes are actually shot. Even the caliper, well, even the disc is quite thin. The caliper is even rusty. So yeah, I think brakes definitely something we need to do. We are going to need a screwdriver, so let me just bring the screwdriver over here. Right, so let's grab this because we're going to have to probably pop out the torsion bars as well, so we're going to need a pry tool. Okay, but first of all we're going to see, yeah, this is a bad part, so let's chuck the bad parts over here in a corner along with the brake caliper so that we know that stuff we need to replace. Okay, so let's take off this old hub, which you can clearly see is a bit banged up. That's very rusty. Shock absorber. I don't know what the condition of these shock absorbers are. Sometimes they still look decent, but then once you have a closer look at them, you can see like this one, it still appears to be good, but it's basically halfway worn already, so it's no use in keeping that around. Okay, so next up we're going to take off this hub carrier. Once again, same story of these. They also still might appear to be good. This one isn't too bad. Yeah, I think we can probably reuse that one. I'll just see how the budget looks, because we obviously are going to be doing this work for Cyclone at the discounted rate, because he gave us a nice discount on the truck that we picked up next to the Camino here. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see where we can save a little bit of money for ourselves, and obviously also still do a pretty decent job for Cyclone. Make sure this Camino is gonna give him no more problems down the road for at least a couple of thousand miles. Alright, so this side we're gonna start with the brake caliper, which doesn't look too bad. Brake pads even still look decent. So yeah, that is also somewhat usable. I think we can probably just keep that around for now. Right? But we can clearly see there's a bit of damage to the tie rod. I think this truck probably hit something on the left. If you look at the body damage as well, there's a little bit of dents on this front corner as we saw in the last episode. So yeah, I think the suspension also took a bit of a knock here. Alright, let's grab the screwdriver, which is over here. Alright, let's see. Undo this brake disc. Alright, so this brake disc actually looks decent. So yeah, that doesn't really make sense why the brake disc is brand new. Maybe they replaced it to get this thing running temporarily after the accident. But yeah, no compromises here. We're gonna replace both of the front hubs. Even this hub carrier is completely shot. You can just tell by the color of it. It's all brown and rusty. So we'll chuck all of those. Alright, and last but not least, this lower control arm. Let's just see what this is all about. Yeah, see, that is something which I will also just rather replace than reuse the old part, because it's just a little bit too far gone. Alright, so next up we're gonna grab our pry tool and let's get under here. We're gonna see if we can get this torsion bar removed. Okay, so we've got our torsion bar free. Torsion bar actually still looks good, but I'm a little bit concerned about what we actually pried out along with this. I guess we'll find out as far as we strip this thing further. Okay, and yeah, see, these torsion bars are actually still good. We're gonna probably reuse these anyway. Okay, so that is sorted. Front suspension is basically stripped. However, I want to rip out the cross member. Oh, okay, we popped out the cluster. Okay, alright, so there we go. Alright, let's lower this thing back down, because we're going to see if we can rip the engine out. So next up we are going to just remove the engine, because I want to see what parts on the cross member is still good and bad. We've got some steering boxes and stuff there that we need access to, so it's easier to remove the engine first of all. Let's just grab this fuel line. You can actually inspect this as well. Yeah, fuel line still looks good. We are going to be mounting the engine that we got from Hugo, so I did ask him if I can buy it off of him. So we're going to get it from Hugo, maybe for quite a nice price. And that engine is completely brand new still, so it might actually be worth just getting that engine off of Hugo and save us a bit of money. And let's take this out all the way with the exhausts. Alright, and see if we can still reuse these mufflers. Right, that one still looks kind of new. Let's check this one. Hey, engine, just sit still. Alright, so we've got basically two brand new exhausts over here, so yeah, that's actually a very good thing, because that means the undercarriage was actually taken care of at some point. My goodness, this whole engine. We don't have a engine stand for this, so this is probably going to be rolling around a bit now, so let's just put it down nicely over there. Okay, so now we can probably check our radiator out as well. Are we going to be able to actually get to those bolts? That side is a bit banged up, so might have to get a little bit creative in getting that removed. Alright, let's see if we can see the bolts from the front here. Alright, so I can barely get to them, but there we go. Right, so the radiator actually still looks decent. It doesn't look like this got any damage, really. Still looks fairly good, fairly straight, so I wouldn't say that is a problem. Alright, so last thing that I wanted to do quickly before we do all of the cross member bolts and stuff like that, let's just rip out this battery. Alright, so the battery, yeah, we might as well replace the battery. Definitely need to replace this master brake cylinder. Right, so there should be two bolts here. Okay, so we got it. Okay, so master brake cylinder will definitely replace that. So let's pop that on the ground. The battery might still be good for a project that we don't really want to make perfect one day, so yeah, we're just going to keep around that battery for now. Let's take off the wiring harness, which you can clearly see is bad, so that's a part that we still need to order. Alright, and then obviously the starter and the gearbox, we can actually do that from the bottom. So now let's just get this thing lifted up once again. Let's just mind the garage door over there, because now the hood is opened. Okay, let's go up again. Alright, so that is now just the cross member that's left. So just going to undo these 4 bolts. Okay, and drop this down. Alright, let's get this steering link off. We can see that is quite badly rusted, so that is definitely something we're going to have to replace. And the steering arm also doesn't look too fresh. Alright, so that needs to be replaced. But let's look at the steering box. It still appears to be good. So let's see if there's any wear on this, which there is, so might as well get a new steering box. And as for the cross member itself, this is still fairly decent, so we're just going to go ahead and pop it on, and I'm going to bolt it down on this side only, because we need to cut this inner fender off on this side because it's rusted all the way through. And we're also going to be replacing the radiator core support, because that also looks a little bit banged up. I actually should leave the thing on just for now, because we are going to be taking this thing to the body shop afterwards, after we get the suspension back together. So let's continue over here. We're going to get our drive shaft unbolted and get the gearbox out. Alright, so that's a 4-speed gearbox. I don't think Cyclone would mind if we actually did the 6-speed swap for him instead of putting another 4-speed in. Alright, and this drive shaft is completely shot, so that is also an old part we're going to have to get rid of. So let's just start making a pile over there as well. Alright, so rear suspension, I think let's do it like this. We're going to strip everything off from the car today. We're not going to take out the whole suspension. Let's just investigate each and every part as we take them off the vehicle. Alright, so we're going to make a rear suspension bad pile over here. And then obviously we'll see what we need to replace. Looks like it's going to be quite a lot, because these hubs even look bad. Brake calipers look bad as well on the back. At least this one. Okay, so there it goes. Alright, so that's a bad rear brake caliper. What am I doing? Let's just put everything like I said. This one on the right hand side, once again, looks a little bit better. And there goes our main brake line somewhere, I believe. Okay, but let's see. We'll see if we can find it again. Okay, so there's our rear right brake caliper, which actually still looks decent. Alright, so no idea where that main brake line is. Okay, it's just dangling here. Okay, let's have a look at this. Alright, main brake line actually still looks decent, so might still be good enough to reuse that as well. Alright, yeah, let's maybe take off the shock absorbers first, which we can clearly see those are quite bad. We are definitely missing quite a bit of parts on this truck. Like the one shock absorber was missing on the front left. We are basically missing 2 front upper control arms as well. They were both missing. Okay, so let's continue with this leaf spring on this side for now. That is actually still fine, so we can put that back for now. Okay, and what I want to do is just hold one bolt down there for now, because we still need to strip the outer parts off. Alright, but we can see that this leaf spring on this side needs to go. It's definitely seen some better days compared to the other one. Alright, so we've got one good leaf spring on the truck. And now I think let's grab a screwdriver, because I want to take off that broken brake disc at the back. Alright, so let's see. This one isn't too bad. It's not broken yet, but it's definitely quite thin. And we've got this one, which is completely destroyed. Alright, so let's drop that down over there. Alright, perfect. And then yeah, what I'm going to do now is we're going to rip out the axle with the hubs installed, because as you can see the hubs are both quite bad, so we're just going to rip this off. Okay, and let's just check the handbrake cable on this. Alright, handbrake cable. How is this doing? Handbrake cable still looks brand new, so something we can reuse. But yeah, as for the rear axle, that is definitely going to have to be replaced. So yeah, we don't really have a lot of useful parts left. It's just the strut rods, the hub carrier for the front right, that I'm still contemplating if I should rather replace it. Some of these parts are actually still very decent. So yeah, that is definitely some parts that has been swapped out on this truck. Radiator still looks good. So I think we are actually pretty good on this truck. This truck is definitely not going to need as much work as I thought it was. Just a little bit of bodywork still. And maybe, yeah, put the suspension back together, obviously, and fit the wheels that we said we're going to fit. And then, yeah, obviously this thing is just going to need a transmission as well, which we don't have at the moment. I'm going to order us a 6-speed transmission. But let's go and grab the engine that we're going to be slapping in this thing and actually pop it into the truck, because why not? We don't really have any problems or anything that needs to go on first at the moment. As for the paint job, we will just paint very carefully. We won't get any paint on the engine. Right, so this is in fact Hugo's old engine. Alright, so let's just make sure all of these bolts are still tight on this thing, because yeah, we were actually fiddling around with this engine the day we took it out. So the engine isn't brand new still. It's definitely a little bit of a used engine, but it's still very decent. So let's carry this over. Gonna pop this straight into the El Camino, and then that means we can actually put on the exhausts as well, and then this truck should actually be ready to fire up as well once we get everything installed. Okay, so let's go over to this side. We'll just bolt it down there. Alright, so we've got the right exhaust. And let's grab the left exhaust here. Alright, so I think we can actually also install the brake line, or the fuel line actually. Come to think of it, the brake line could have gone on, but yeah, we'll rather just do that with the rest of the suspension. We are going to need new main wires. That's the word I was looking for, main wires, because those are also a bit shot. As for the torsion bars, I don't think they're going to be in the way if we did decide to put them back in. Which actually reminds me, I wanted to check. As you can see, there's also some rust on this part over here. So let's take off this transmission support and just see how this is doing. Yeah, that's still fine, but there's definitely a little bit of problems that I just noticed down there as well. Let's have a look at that a little bit closer. Alright, so we can clearly see that this middle frame brace has seen some better days, which we are probably going to have to cut off the car. Let's have a look at this rear part over here, the middle frame brace. What is this? This is the... yeah, that's actually the torsion support. This is the middle frame brace. Alright, so let's go and grab our plasma cutter, since we have got still a little bit of time before I have to actually neaten up everything. I still have to take pictures of the cars as well. So let's do that quickly before we bring our plasma cutter over there. Alright, I think let's do it like this at an angle. We'll do a little bit of a zoom. We're going to have Scotia's car in the background as well. Yeah, I think that'll make for a nice picture. Let's just take it like that. Perfect. Alright, let's put our camera back down. And then we're going to grab our plasma cutter over here. Alright, let's see if we can actually cut those parts off that we need to cut off. Alright, we'll just close the office door. It's a little bit windy today as well, so it's going to be better. You can see the trailer is actually moving around again. Alright, so we've got our plasma cutter. So let's quickly button up everything. Or rather cut everything off. That was the wrong weld. Why did I cut that one? Okay, I must just remember to check all the welds before we put this thing back together. Alright, so that is the weld we need to cut, and this one over there. Alright, maybe there's some more at the back. Let's just see. Of course. Alright, let's just see if this is going to come out. Alright, so yeah, good thing I actually decided to have a look at this so that we can actually cut this off now. And this frame brace at the back is also going to have to come out. That also looks a little bit rusty. Alright, and there it is. So we'll order a new middle frame brace and a new torsion support. This is for the front and those are for the rear, so let's just keep them separate. Alright, but yes, I think that is everything that I'm going to do to this truck for today. I don't know, maybe we can actually just cut off that inner fender while we are here with the core support. Makes sense to do it. Oops, let's just take the plasma cutter out from under there. Alright, let's go down all the way. Just put it over there. Let's get this front bumper off now. I still wanted to check if the bumper was still straight anyway, so let's go ahead and do this while we are busy with this. I know this is actually bodywork, but that's fine. We'll spend our time wisely here. Alright, let's just put this more or less in the middle there. Okay, those two headlights can also come off. Need a screwdriver once again. And I've got no clue where the screwdriver went. We'll just find it in a second. It's over on the bench. Okay, so let's get those headlights removed. The two that we still have in here. Alright, third bolt is loose, or third screw is loose. Headlight is definitely not looking so hot. Alright, and this one. Yeah, that is also shot. So we'll get some new headlights for this truck as well. And next up we're going to grab our wrench again, because we want to undo the fender on that side. Alright, so let's come and undo this fender real quickly. Last bolt over there. Okay, and that is good. Alright, so the fender still looks savable. This actually might be a new fender because it looks like it's primer grey. It actually looks like this whole truck is primer grey. I don't know why there's rust on it. Maybe it was painted in primer and then it was left to sit. So I'm not too sure about that, but we'll just see. We'll figure it out eventually. Alright, so let's cut off the radiator support here. Yeah, you can see clearly how far back this side is pushed. On this side it still looks fairly good actually. Alright, so that is a little bit mangled. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to fix this, because that'll be great if I can actually just bang it straight with a hammer. Let's see what it's going to do. Alright, let's just turn it around. Knock it the right direction. Alright. Well, that actually came together quite nicely. I think that's actually sorted now. Yeah, this can almost go back onto the truck. Yeah, but there's probably also a bit of damage to that inner fender on that side then. Let's have a look at it. I mean, this is bodywork, but let's just make the best of our time here. And we're gonna see if this can knock back into place. Yeah, it will. Alright, so that is at least one less thing that we needed to replace on this truck. Well, I can probably spend a little bit more time with this. But yeah, I think that is good enough for now. On this side, I don't think we're going to be able to salvage that. That is actually rusted all the way through, so that is going to have to come off. Alright, let's grab this plasma cutter. Let's go under here first of all. We're going to cut it over there. Man, I should have actually lifted this truck up a bit, so let's just do that. Just mind the hood. Okay, let's close the garage door for now. Alright, there's no cut over there. Just cut it over there and over there. And there it is, okay. Alright, so that popped off, and we're going to need this part. an inner fender for the El Camino. And then once we replace that, I think that's all of the rusty pans on this truck sorted. We might have to do a little bit more bodywork at the back as well, but I think that is something we're going to continue with on the next episode on Friday. So yeah, I'm going to go away for a couple of days, but I'll be back before Friday, obviously, so that we can get the next episode out and record it for you guys. So there's just a couple of things that I still need to do around the shop before we actually end this episode. So I think I should just get cracking with that. So we're going to just pack up all of the tools, so that we know everything is where it's supposed to be, and when we get back we're not going to be looking for anything. Okay, and our old truck over here can stay in the suspension shop for now, so that is nice and safe. I should have actually closed the hood. Let's just do that. Alright, that is perfect. Alright, engine shop we need to close up as well, so let's run over here and let's just put this on the shelf over there. Alright, close up this door. And we are going to pull Scotia's little car inside the shop as well. We will get it delivered to him before Friday. So yeah, that is not too bad. Alright, so let's pull his car back into the shop, and we're also going to park the ramp truck and the trailer inside the shop. Alright, so let's fire this beast up again. Alrighty, so we can actually pull this one all the way over here. And we've got Charles's truck in the paint booth, so that can actually stay there. It's going to be nice and safe because it's all closed up and locked anyway, so no worry with that. Alright, let's get this door open. I think we're going to pull the trailer in on the small door side, and we'll pull the ram truck on that side. Alright, let's grab the trailer first. We're going to just pull this inside. Alright, let's just go this way, and then we can push it back. Alright, yeah, this is a little bit of manual labor, but that's okay. We are getting ready to go on a bit of a road trip with that BMW. I just hope the car's going to be nice and reliable, actually, for this trip, so I guess we'll find out. We should not forget our suitcase. I must just remember the suitcase as well. Alright, let's get the ramp truck fired up once again. And then I can get the lights turned off. And then we are gonna head off and go away for a couple of days, guys. Alright, let's get this thing parked up. Alright, just like that. So we are good. Alright, and now we can finally close up this door over here. We'll turn off the lights. Yeah, I actually should have left a bit earlier today, but yeah, that's okay. We will still manage to get there in time. Alright, so let's just close up the shop once again. And that is nice and locked. The paint booth is closed up. Everything is locked up, so I think we are good to go. Let's just open the trunk here. Grab our suitcase. Alright, I hope this is going to fit in the trunk of the BMW, because we've got a lot of stuff in this suitcase. Alright, and I think it's going to be, yeah, that's a perfect fit. Alright, well, so that is going to be the end of this episode, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.